Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video I am going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Crystal Palace tomorrow at Old Trafford. Obviously it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first press conference of the new season, and I've got to say it was a very good press conference. Now, Solskjaer has given us an update on our transfers, the new season ahead, and also he's given us an update on players who are fit. He's also spoken about Mason Greenwood. He's furious with the FA and Gareth Southgate over the handling of Mason Greenwood. You know, Solskjaer believes that Mason Greenwood should have been rested. Mason Greenwood did recently make his England senior debut against Iceland, but obviously he was sent home for breaking COVID-19 guidelines. Phil Foden was also another player that was withdrawn from the England squad for bringing girls back to the team hotel. So there has been a few issues with Mason Greenwood recently, but Solskjaer confirmed that he is part of the group. He's also held negotiations with Mason Greenwood, and he says Mason Greenwood did very, very well last season. And obviously that was his first full season in the senior squad. We recently gave Mason Greenwood the number 11. He's going to become the fourth Manchester United player to wear the number 11. He also, during the press conference, spoken about Harry Maguire. He said he's unsure how Harry Maguire's arrest in Greece and conviction will affect him this season. And he was asked about, did he ever consider, taking the captaincy of Harry Maguire. But Solskjaer's confirmed that Harry Maguire will remain Manchester United captain this season. Obviously, this season's going to be Harry Maguire's second season at the football club. Obviously, last season was his first season at the club. We got Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. Obviously, at the beginning of the press conference, he was asked about Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek should be making his Premier League debut for the club tomorrow. He was asked how likely it is for Donny van de Beek to play and how he settled in general. And, Solskjaer praised Donny van de Beek a lot, saying that his personality is very, very good. He also mentioned that he played very, very well in the Villa game in pre-season. We did lose by 1-0. Solskjaer believes that, we can play Donny van de Beek, Fernandes and Pogba in the midfield. But we've also got other options in midfield. We've got McTominay, Fred and Matic, like Solskjaer was saying. Now, Solskjaer wants Manchester United to make more signings in this summer transfer window, because he does admit we need to get reinforcements in. We've only made one signing so far in this summer transfer window, and that was Donny van de Beek. He was also asked about Jadon Sancho, because we're obviously attempting to get him from Borussia Dortmund. But Solskjaer said he can't comment on other players from other clubs, and obviously he can't speculate. But Solskjaer recently revealed that he has been frustrated with the board. Main explanation is over the lack of transfer business in this summer transfer window. But we've been critical of the board anyway for several years, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've obviously overpaid for players. The managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough, and I don't think Solskjaer's getting backed enough in this summer transfer window. But I do think he deserves more backing, because he is progressing as Manchester United manager, and he's even publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window. I think there's around 3 weeks left, or is it just under 3 weeks left until the summer transfer window shuts, and Manchester United have got quite a few things to do. Not only make more signings, we've also got to offload players. We are struggling to offload our fringe players at the moment. And it's very imperative that we sell players, because obviously there's still deadwood at the club. And obviously if we sell players, we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. During the press conference as well, Solsjaer was asked about who's going to start in goal. Hasn't said. He hasn't even said the team he's going to go with tomorrow. So Solskjaer's got a goalkeeping decision to make. I think he's going to go with David De Gea tomorrow, because I think he will remain our number one goalkeeper this season. Obviously, this season's going to be David De Gea's 10th season at the football club. David De Gea has endured 9 years at Man United, and like I've said before, he's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at the club, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. We paid just over £18 million for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. And I said if we'd have sold him in this summer transfer window, we would have got around £60 million for him. But he will stay with us for at least another season. When De Gea does eventually leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. But David De Gea has made over 400 appearances for us in all competitions, and he's made 300 odd appearances for us in the Premier League alone. He's won everything domestically at the football club, and he's also won individual awards. But personally speaking, I think Solskjaer needs to put Dean Henderson as number one this season, because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him. He recently endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and I've got to say, he was Sheffield United's player of the season. We got Dean Henderson at the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years. Dean Henderson did recently threaten to leave Man United if he isn't assured to be number one this season. Not so long ago, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Man United worth 120 grand a week. But Solskjaer was saying that the goalkeepers have been training very, very good. I think our only absentees are Alex Tuanzebe. He's out with injury. Phil Jones, I think I heard now he's fit, but obviously he's not going to be selected. Solskjaer has also confirmed in the press conference that Paul Pogba and Luke Shaw are available. Now, Solskjaer did say, didn't he, not so long ago, that Paul Pogba is a doubt for the game tomorrow against Crystal Palace, because Paul Pogba has just recently recovered from coronavirus. And that's very good news from a Manchester United perspective. It's also very good news for Paul Pogba and his family. But Paul Pogba was recently in training. I think he was training on Monday. I'm glad, that Paul Pogba is going to be available to play. This season is going to be Paul Pogba's 5th season at the club since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. We paid 89 million for Pogba, so he is our most expensive signing at the moment. Now, towards the end of last season, I thought Paul Pogba was very, very good. I thought his combination with Bruno Fernandes was exceptional. For the vast majority of last season, though, didn't really have a perception on Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury. He sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. I think what we've got to do is we've got to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the club to end the uncertainty over his future, because he has had a long-running transfer saga. Now, Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, a few weeks ago said that Paul Pogba will stay at Man United this summer, and he said he will hold talks over a new contract. Fabrizio Romano said that Pogba wants to stay at the club and he is happy. He said a few weeks before the end of last season that Pogba was close to signing a 5-year contract with Man United. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his current contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Now, around this time last year, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge, and he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. There was also talks about him going back to Juventus because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have also been in for him before. Pogba's won 2 trophies at the football club so far, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. We had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to leave due to limited appearances. We was critical of his agent Mini Raiola earlier on this year because he publicly criticised Solsjaer and Manchester United. But I heard that we may have to play Pogba out of position, to get Donny van de Beek in there. So, yeah. And Luke Shaw, he's just recently recovered from an ankle injury. I think Luke Shaw needs to improve on his fitness because he's injury prone. Luke Shaw's endured around 6 years with Manchester United. Got him from Southampton back in 2014 for £30 million. Rashford should be involved in this game. He's just recently recovered from an ankle injury. I think he missed both of England's games due to his ankle injury. Don't forget Rashford had a back injury for us last season and he was out for a few months. So that is your reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Solskjaer also mentioned that obviously, we still need to find consistency. He thinks Man United have got a lot of confidence though going into this season because obviously last season Solskjaer exceeded most of his expectations. The only expectation he didn't exceed was winning the trophy. But last season, obviously, we got qualification for the Champions League, and I said how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. We also finished third, and we progressed to 3 semi-finals. We got to the FA Cup semi-final, the Europa League semi-final, and the EFL Cup semi-final. But don't forget, the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And at that point, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager. But I give you the main explanations why I didn't get sacked is because obviously since Bruno Fernandes has come in, he's made the difference in the team. I think with Solskjaer being a club legend, that played a part in it. Our record against the top 6 sides last season was also very, very good. Hopefully we can continue that this season. And, we are unbeaten in the league since January. We are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. But anyway, it's very, very imperative that we get off to a winning start. I expect Manchester United to beat Crystal Palace. I really, really do. This is going to be Crystal Palace's second game of the Premier League season because Crystal Palace won their first Premier League game against Southampton by 1-0. They recently got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, did Crystal Palace. They lost to Bournemouth 11-10 on penalties. Now, this game at Old Trafford last season, like I mentioned on my preview, was 2-1 to Crystal Palace. And that was Crystal Palace's first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League since 1989. So that's like 31 years ago now. But we did beat them at Selhurst Park towards the end of last season by 2-0. So we've got a pretty good record against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace themselves have got injuries. They've got Christian Benteke out. They've also got Connor Wickham out. They've got James Tompkins out. They've got Gary Cahill out. They've got Nathan Ferguson out. And they've also got Patrick Van Aanholt out. So that is a headache for Crystal Palace. But they've still got some good players of Palace. They've got obviously Jordan Ayew. They've got Wilfried Zaha. Don't forget Wilfried Zaha is a former Manchester United player. They've still got Andy Townsend. Sacco, he just recently recovered from injury for Crystal Palace. But yeah. Crystal Palace's current manager is Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson's managed around 16 clubs in his managerial career. I can't remember all of them he's managed. He's currently at Crystal Palace now. You know, he's managed West Brom before. He's managed Liverpool. He's managed Fulham. He's managed Blackburn. He's managed Grasshoppers. He's managed Underneath. I think he also managed the England under-21s. And I'm still surprised that Roy Hodgson is still managing. He's now in his 70s. But yeah, like I said, you know, this season is big for Solskjaer, because this season is his second full season at the football club, and it's very imperative that he does exceed expectations. Now, if we are to make a few more signings before this summer transfer window shuts them, maybe one of our expectations this season will be to challenge for the Premier League title. Obviously, we haven't mounted any title challenge up in the last 7 years, and we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So the last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. We are the most successful team in Premier League history because we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. So I'm hopeful that we can challenge for the title. You know, do you think at some point we can win a title under Solskjaer? You know, some Manchester United fans don't think Solskjaer's good enough to win the title because, let's be honest, he hasn't got a fantastic pedigree behind him. But I think we're at least a couple of years off winning the league. We are. I'm hopeful we can win a trophy this season because we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years and we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Solskjaer era, and Solskjaer has been at the football club now over a year and a half. We also need to see improvements this season. There's still certain players that have got to improve. I think Maguire's got to improve. Lindelof has got to improve. The guy has obviously got to get back to his best vein of form. Like I said, Luke Shaw, Eric Bay, you know, they've got to improve their fitness. Wan-Bissaka, he's got to improve his attacking intent because that's what he's lacking at the moment. You know, this season is going to be Wan-Bissaka's second season at the club. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Palace last summer. Last season was his first season at the club. Solskjaer's also got to improve his decision making, and there's still aspects of our game that have got to improve. But don't get me wrong, I have seen improvements since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in to the football club. I think, you know, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well. Since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over the reins at Manchester United in December 2018, he's obviously wanted to bring in young homegrown talents. And Solskjaer has set a challenge for our academy players to replicate the likes of Mason Greenwood and Brandon Williams and others. We've got a lot of good young players coming through at Manchester United, and Solskjaer's brought some more academy players into the club. That's even more positive news. You know, the likes of Tiedemann Menge, you know, he made his debut for the club in the Europa League. He's probably got a bright future for us. Maybe James Garner's got a bright future for us. Ethan Galbraith recently got promoted into the senior squad. Hannibal Medjbrai, do you think he's got a bright future at the football club? Another positive is Solskjaer's got rid of a lot of the dead wood since he got recommended into Manchester United. You know, we've seen players like Sanchez leave, Lukaku. Angel Gomez, Herrera, Fellaini, Damian, Valencia, Young. Obviously, we've loaned a few players out. You know, we loaned Heath Chon out to Werder Bremen. We loaned Dylan Levitt out. I think we loaned Joe Pereira back out again. There was obviously rumours of James Garner going out on loan. Yes, there was. And definitely, you know, players have improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. I think Martial has really, really improved under him. I think Martial's had 2 good seasons out of the 5 years he's been at Man United. I think he did well last season under Solsjaer, and he did well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We paid £36 million for Anthony Martial from Monaco. Obviously now he plays in that number 9. That's not his predominant position, but he looks very effective in that central position. I've got to say Rashford's really improved under him. Rashford's been part of the club for several years. Rashford's been with us around 15 years. You know, been in United players since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016 as Marcus Rashford. Obviously now he does play on that left-hand side. I think Mason Greenwood's done well. I think Brandon Williams has also done well. Last season was Brandon Williams' first full season in the senior squad. He recently signed a 4-year contract with Man United, and we recently gave Brandon Williams the number 33 shirt. First player, I think, to wear the number 33 since Paddy McNair. I think the signings that Solskjaer's he's brought in have done well as well. Daniel James, he's going to find it hard now to get game time, isn't he? A lot last season, we played him, and I thought Solskjaer overplayed Daniel James, to be honest with you. For the vast majority of last season, he was actually playing on that right-hand side, even though he's supposed to be more effective from the left-hand side. We paid £15 million for Daniel James from Swansea last summer. There was actually rumours saying that we could actually loan him out. Daniel James. Bruno Fernandes. I've been very impressed with him since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in January. We got Bruno Fernandes in a deal worth, was it £55 million? I think Bruno Fernandes has scored like 12 or 13 goals for us in all competitions since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon, and he's won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times, reflecting on his good run of performances. Bruno Fernandes' predominant position is that number 10. I've got to say Fred has also improved under Solskjaer. He has definitely confounded his critics wrong, because under the Jose Mourinho era, Fred received a lot of criticism, but there again, under the Jose Mourinho era, Fred never really got his opportunities, did he? He's been with us a few years now. We paid £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk back in 2018. We got him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window, but since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, Fred has found game time hard. He really has. At Tominway, I've been very impressed with him. Not so long ago, he signed a 5-year deal with Man United. I think we've changed his role, and he's now our first choice defensive midfielder at Tominway. Don't forget, he did have that ankle injury last season. Matic has also really impressed me. I think he'll stay at Man United at least for another season. Matic has endured 3 years at the club. I think this is going to be his 4th season at Man United. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. You know, like I said, Pogba's really impressed me. He's another one. Luke Shaw's also really impressed me. Even Odin Ighalo, he's also impressed me as well. Obviously, we got Odin Ighalo on deadline day in January. We got him in as a cover-up to Rashford, because at the time we got Ighalo, Rashford was out with that back injury, don't forget. Ighalo was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season. Just after lockdown, we extended Odin Ighalo's loan until January 2021. You know, so a lot of players have improved under the Solskjaer era. They really have. But I always said, didn't I, Solskjaer deserves another season at Manchester United, because it is a transition period, and it has been a transition period for a while. Like I said, when Solskjaer first came in, he was inheriting a squad that was worth £700 million. This is before he made any signings. Solskjaer's inheriting a lot of players from the Jose Mourinho era, because a lot of this team is Jose Mourinho's. Still a few players even from the Van Gaal era he's inheriting. Still a few players. There's still one player, sorry, here from the Moyes era, and still a few players here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So there you go. But in the last 7 years, Manchester United have been playing catch-up. You know, we've had obviously different managers with different philosophies. Obviously, we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was David Moyes. We sacked him after 8 or 9 months. Obviously, we didn't win out in terms of silverware under Moyes. I think under the Moyes era, we finished 7th, and that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. Moyes should have never been recommended in, and Ferguson was at the fault for ever recommending him in at that particular time. But the main explanation Ferguson recommended him in is because they was both Scottish. Obviously, we sacked Van Gaal. He lasted 2 years at Man United. We did win the FA Cup under the Louis Van Gaal era. Obviously, Jose Mourinho, he got sacked after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Also got second in his first season. That's actually the highest we've finished since the Alex Ferguson era. He's second. But we've recruited over 30-odd players in since Ferguson's retirement and spent close to the £1 billion range. But I just think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United, to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Alex Ferguson did. Ferguson endured 20-odd years at the club, won a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles, obviously. But he didn't settle in straight away, Ferguson, because he did not win out in his first 4 years at the football club. You've got Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. Look how good he is now, but he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool. Look how good Pep Guardiola is now at City. Obviously, it was Marcelo Bielsa that taught him. Basically, you can say Guardiola's following Marcelo Bielsa's philosophy. You know what I mean? So, there you go. But I'm frustrated in terms of what's going on in this transfer window with Man United, because we're missing out on our targets. We've missed out on Sergio Reguilon, we've missed out on Bale, we've missed out on Jack Grealish because he recently signed a 5-year contract with Aston Villa. We've missed out on who else have we missed out on? We've missed out on we missed out on Reguilon, Bale, Grealish. We missed out on Erling Haaland in January, and I said it was a shame we missed out on him because he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solsjaer type signing. We also missed out on Jude Bellingham. He's another player we missed out on. So I am really, really infuriated. I really, really am. But the players we're looking to get rid of is obviously Lingard. Don't get in the team a lot now, and he's too inconsistent anyway, but Lingard has been part of the club for several years. Pereira, I heard rumours saying he could stay, but I think Pereira needs to go because he don't get in the team enough now, and he's too inconsistent. Smalling, I think he'll end up leaving. Rojo, we need to get rid of him because he won't get in the team now. Phil Jones, we also need to get rid of him. We also need to get rid of Diego Dalot because he isn't good enough to represent Man United. Sergio Romero, some United fans would like him to stay because he isn't a bad keeper, but Sergio Romero is not going to want to stay at Man United when he's third choice goalkeeper, is he? So, there you go. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.